We're learning more about the Hollywood Hills man arrested in connection with the death of rapper Mac Miller. 28-year-old Cameron Pettit briefly appeared in a downtown LA courtroom yesterday. Federal prosecutors say he sold the artist counterfeit drugs laced with fentanyl days before his death. Now, he's been charged with distribution of a controlled substance.
These are pharmaceuticals that are manufactured primarily in Mexico by the Mexican drug cartels for 75 cents to $1.50 per pill, sold on the streets of Los Angeles for $20 or more per pill.
Wow, now the medical examiner determined that the rapper died of a deadly mix of fentanyl, cocaine, and alcohol in his Studio City home. The U.S. attorney would not speculate if Pettit would be charged with either murder or manslaughter at a later date. Now, Mac Miller is one of the most high-profile celebrities to lose his life to counterfeit drugs that secretly contain fentanyl, an extremely powerful substance. Both fentanyl and oxycodone are legal, but dangerous. It all highlights the risk of illegally buying opioids off the street on the black market. Right now, I'm joined by the author of The United States of Opioids, a prescription for liberating a nation in pain. That's the title of his book. He's also the founder and managing partner of Nelson Hardiman, LA's largest healthcare law firm. Harry Nelson, now via Skype with me to talk about Mac Miller's death and the dangers of these potent drugs. Thank you so much for the time. Kicking things right off, how is the threat then from these street drugs different now than it was, say, 5 or 10 years ago?
Jasmine, it's changed tremendously. These days, a significant portion of the pills being sold on the street and is laced with fentanyl, coming in from Mexico, coming in from China, so that people think they're getting OxyContin, they think they're getting Percocet, but what they're getting are counterfeit pills that are really fentanyl, and that's what's killing so many people.
Is there any way then to determine how a drug is counterfeit or contains a dangerous additive like fentanyl?
So we do have fentanyl test strips that work with liquid forms of the drug. And when you put the liquid in, you get an extra red stripe that indicates the presence of fentanyl. What we're working on right now are getting forms of that work with pill and powder. And one of the big challenges is making sure that people are aware that test strips are available and are actually using them, so that when people are going to use drugs, they're doing that in a smart way. It's a new approach for U.S. drug policy.
Yeah, I would say so. But you know what? If it saves a life, it saves someone's life. So what do you think authorities then need to do differently in the way that they're handling the opioid crisis?
You know, the places where we're seeing the most success around the country are places where we move away from a criminalization approach and where we have cooperation, where law enforcement are actually directing people into treatment, the people who want treatment into treatment. The problem is we still have too many places where there's tension and a resistance to actually accepting that people are going to get these drugs on the street and use them, and moving to that approach.
So, Harry, talk also about another high-profile celebrity here, Angels pitcher Tyler Skaggs. The coroner's report saying he also had fentanyl in his system.
Yeah, the tragedy is exactly the same in both of these cases. People who clearly wanted or needed OxyContin for whatever reason couldn't get it from a doctor. They went onto the street, or in the Skaggs case, had somebody go onto the street for him. And it turned out that even the drug dealer didn't know that they were selling a counterfeit version of the product with fentanyl. These tragedies they're happening on a daily basis. These are just the two most famous cases, and it's showing that this is an equal opportunity killer.
Very important to, I think, talk about this and maybe these cases making people more aware of the dangers of these drugs out there on the black market and on the street. So Harry Nelson joining me via Skype. Thank you so much.